It's time now for the Athlete of the Week, and it's brought to you by Diamond Point in Sauk Centre here on Mid-Minnesota And with us today is a Sauk Centre athlete. This is Claire Newbert. So Claire, let's start out. Tell us about your family, okay?
My mom and dad are Tim and Krista, and I have two older brothers, Cole and Cade.
Cole and Cade. So we saw them play. Tell us, what are they up to these days?
Well, Cole is married, and he lives in Monticello, and Cade's in college right now.
Okay, where does he go?
He is going to Crown College in the cities right now.
Is he playing basketball?
Yes, he is.
And how's that going?
It's going pretty well. He just transferred into a new school, so they're just figuring out the ropes and stuff like that. So.
Great. You know, as we talk about family here on Mid-Minnesota Sports, what is your relationship with your parents as, compared to, going to activities through your life and everything? What has that meant to you personally?
It's huge. It's everything. My parents go to all my sports, all my games, tournaments, you name it, and they're there. They get off work for it. They're always there.
And also growing up with your two brothers as active as they are, what are some of your memories about going to games and just what you wanted to do then personally?
Yep, I made it. I went to all of their games. I remember leaving practice and going there, and then I have vivid memories of sitting with Maddie Nelson, and we'd both be watching our brothers play. Her brother's Austin Nelson. And yeah, it was just really cool, and they're really big role models to me, both of them, Cole and Cade.
So fill us in now that you're a senior. What other activities are you involved in?
I am in basketball, volleyball. I'm in FCA. I think that's about it.
Okay, well, that's enough though, isn't it? I should ask you too, I don't ask everybody, do you work outside of school?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what do you do?
My parents own the Dairy Queen, and so I work for them, and I also like to take pictures, so sometimes I second shoot at weddings.
Oh, is that right?
And I babysit a lot too.
Okay. Well, tell us more about the photography thing. I didn't know that of you. What do you do?
I just take the second shots, so the main photographer will get the bigger pictures, and then I get more of the candids and the behind-the-scenes pictures.
Oh, wow. What piqued your interest with that?
I don't know. I just kind of saw it, and I was like, oh, I like doing that. I can do that.
So as you do that, who's the main person?
Matea Messer.
Okay. Just try to drum up some business in too, right?
Yeah, it's just for fun. It's just I like to do it. So.
Okay, well, real good. The activities that you're involved in, let's start with volleyball, first of all. And then I want to get into school. Maybe school first, okay? What is it like going to school these days for you personally and for your classmates as well?
It's crazy. So we were in hybrid learning to start, which I'm a C day, so I went Tuesdays and Fridays. And then the S days would go Monday and Thursday. And then we both have Wednesday as a 2-hour late, and we have it off. So then with teachers and stuff like that, they're doing a great job. So the S day students are in school, I'll be online, and I'll be with the class. I'll just be at home when that's happening. So.
Is it a struggle for anybody doing this, especially at home? I would find it so distracting.
I think definitely I am also PSEO, so I only take 2 classes through the school and then 2 online classes. But definitely if you're just sitting there all day watching the same thing over and over again, getting distracted is very easily.
And do you find it too, it's got to be hard for the teachers, isn't it?
Especially because they're having to do the online kids, and they're having to get them the work and then also teach the kids here and help them with all the questions. Especially if you're at home and you're not getting, you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be motivated to do your work.
I just think if I was doing that, man, it wouldn't go good. Well, I give you guys credit for plowing your way through this. Again, what is your attitude towards all of this stuff and the changes you have to deal with? How do you handle that?
You just have to control what you can and roll with all the punches that are handed to you. No one ever thought this was going to happen, and everyone's in the same boat. And
for volleyball then too, the season got cut short, and especially your team, the Sauk Centre team, having to sit out as long as you did. Take us through that whole process, okay?
It was hard. It was super hard watching other teams being able to play while we're just sitting at home, and we all really bonded closely together. We had really good team chemistry, and we just would be like, yep, this is what we're going through. It's no one's fault. No one could have had this. no one wanted this to happen to us. So we just have to take every practice, take every game, play it like it's your last, come ready to go, like be ready that this is your last time you're ever going to put on a jersey.
I want to touch on a couple of things, and I want to use you for an example, if that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. In volleyball, your coach is Jim Klophocky. He's been around for a long time. After every practice, some practices are hard. He will say, does anybody want to stay around and hit, right? And, you know, the setter, Megan Klophocky, she'll always stay.
Oh, for sure.
Jill Klophocky will always stay. And I think for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the other girls or players kind of go, you know, it's been a long practice, I'm going to go. But there's always one voice that I hear says, I will, and it's you. You always say, I will hit. What's up with that? What are you going through?
I just love, if I ever have like a bad practice or something like that, not a bad practice, but just I feel something's wrong, I just want to fix it right away so I don't have to go home and be like worrying about what I did wrong. And Jim will always stay there and he'll always help. And even my setters, Ella Froseth and Abby Meyer this year, they're always like, I'll stay with you if you want to work on something. I want to work on my sets too. So it's not, the other girls are always willing to stay after too, but it's just if I see something that I want to fix on myself or like I want to get better at hitting line or sharp cross, I'll just ask them to stay, and they always do.
So you put in the extra work, and let me take you back then when you were just a kid starting out. Tell me about your progress as where you started and where you ended up as a senior. How well did you improve and in what areas?
From where I started, like 4th grade?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're just out there kind of hacking around a little bit. But
I got a lot better. So I think my brothers are super tall, so I was supposed to be a middle, and then I kind of just like stopped growing, and they're like, what should we do with her? So I played a little bit of right side in JO club and stuff like that, and when I played JV, I think it was my sophomore year, they moved me around there too. I played left side and right side. And then my junior year, I played left side, and I played left side last year too.
So you became a hitter, and yeah, your brothers are what, 6'4", 6'5"?
Yep, 6'7" and 6'5", yep.
Oh my goodness, he's that tall now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta get caught up. But you're what now?
I'm 5'8", on the dot.
Okay, so 5'8", outside hitter, all right. As you go up and hit, now you're not a 6-foot hitter. At 5'8", what are you trying to do as you hit the ball? What are you looking at?
Reading the block, so if there's a hole in the block, you obviously want to hit it in between there. And if there's not, then you want to cut it around the block, either way on the line or to the sharp cross.
Serving again is going to be the senior, Sarah Campson. And the serve is short, dug out. Again, the ball not getting to the setter, and a free ball to Sauk Center. They'll set it up with Froseth. Goes outside to Newbert. She gets it through the block, down and good for the kill for Claire Newbert. Melrose will go this side. Kaya Birch will hit cross court. A touch block. Froseth got to it. And a tip across is going to be a good dig by Brooke Meyer. Hit across by Melrose. Sauk Center has it again. They'll go back outside to Newbert. She takes a swing and a save, but nobody could get to the second one. Claire Newbert with her second kill.
Here's another thing I want to bring up, and I use this as younger athletes watch this and look up to you as a senior, kind of a tool to learn here. When the coach says in a group, any questions, do you kind of sense that with a lot of players, they may have a question, but they're thinking, I'm not going to ask a question, I'll sound dumb.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
I would say even I do that sometimes. Like I'll just ask my teammates, see what they think, and then I'll go to the coach. I don't know.
But again, I use you for an example. You ask questions. And I see that with, especially, say, Coach Klophocky. He'll come over and talk with you. Take us through a typical conversation and why you bring something up.
Well, if I ever, like I said, if I ever see something I'm struggling with, I know he'll help me, and he'll be like, this is what you should do. This is like the right thing to do. Even, yeah, he's always there to support me and do whatever I need and answer any of my questions, no matter how crazy they might be.
Do you also feel, too, a player has to get over the fact that, say, like with even Coach Bergman or Coach Klophocky, they're not yelling at you, they're trying to teach you, right?
Yeah, of course, yes.
And so because I see a lot of players, you walk away going, yeah, okay. It's not like you walk away and you go, oh, man, it's not going good.
And even if they do, you just have to ask again and get their opinion again.
Mm-hmm. So would you, as being a leader then too, I noticed too on the basketball team, you're not afraid to talk and just to encourage people. Take us through What does it mean to be a leader as a senior?
It's huge. I remember looking up to, like, when I'll go back to when I was younger, I remember looking up to, like, Aaliyah Gerhardt's, Allie Peterson, Madison Moore. It's like there's a bunch of other girls, but they just always, like, be encouraging. And even as young as I was, they'd be like, oh, hey, Claire, like, just say hi to me. And I was so important. I just think being encouraging is just such, like, it's an easy thing. Like I said, you can control, and it's just something, like, it means a lot to anyone who you get. If, like, I get encouragement from anybody, I'm so excited for that.
Mm-hmm. Because do you sense then from others, the younger players, that are they looking at you?
Yeah.
And so how do you handle that when you see something and, you know, say it's not going good for her, be it volleyball or be it basketball, how do you interact with them?
I just know that I know all the girls, so I know that they'll get it next time. It's not like you have a miss hit, you miss a shot, anything like that. You just have to shake it off and move on to the next play and keep going.
Can I talk to you about, you've gone through this now for how many years, just the pressure, let's say, of playing Sauk Center volleyball, Sauk Center basketball for the girls. I always look at it as the one thing, you're expected to win here, aren't you?
Oh, yes, for sure.
So, but is it too much for you or for other players or what?
No, it's not. That's the best part about it, is playing under pressure, playing in those hard situations. Like, that's what every athlete wants. You don't want an easy game where you rack up stats, but that doesn't really, it's not important.
So do you kind of feel that against other teams, that how they're playing you? Because I look at it again too, that you've got that target there and they're going, we're going to take on these girls, and especially because you're playing at a pretty good level here. Can you handle that? Oh,
yes, of course. We talked about it. We talked about teams who they'll just show up ready to go, and they'll be like, we can take on this team. And we talked about other teams who are like, oh, it's Sauk Center, like, we're kind of scared to play them. We see that, we know, and we can adjust to that, and we can play really hard.
So again, going back to, say, 3rd and 4th grade, do you sense that then? Is it you just grow up with this?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. It's fun, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because winning is fun.
Mm-hmm.
So you've kind of touched on some of those girls and, you know, in the past that you've played with. Maybe tell us about your coaches. Again, Coach Klophockey with volleyball, Coach Bergman with basketball here. How do they handle you, and what have you learned from them?
They're always prepared. I don't know a single game we've gone into where I felt unprepared. Like I said, I asked questions, and so I was just like, I've never felt unprepared. They've never had a question that they don't find the answer for me. Even Mr. Bergman, we're here early, we're putting in the time, we're going over film, we're looking at plays, we're finding new plays to run, and it's really important. Like, it's nice to see that they're interested and they're involved. It's not just like, oh, I'm here to coach. Like, they're involved in everything.
Is there a balance that you have to kind of find too as a student, an athlete? You work and you do your other stuff. How do you balance all this out? Is it too much at times?
I don't think it's too much. I love being active. Like, I don't know. It's just
how you grew up.
It's just how I grew up, yeah.
That's, all right. I want to touch on, too, just something about, as you're obviously wearing a mask. What is it like playing with a mask right now?
The first couple practices were a little difficult. He accommodated to that, and we had like certain breaks. He'd be like, girls, how are you feeling? Like, we can take a break. And we just spread out around the gym and take a breather for a few minutes. And now we're just all used to it. I don't think it's a problem for anybody, but I mean, obviously it's a hindrance, but I think we're all in the same boat. We're all having to do it. It's just the team who comes the most prepared with the best mindset about it. Like, if you're like, oh, I have to wear this mask, it's like, no, we get to play. Like, that's the best part about it. Like, if I'd rather wear a mask than not play.
You've been around a lot of these girls here since you've been, you know, in grade school here. Who are some of your friends out there, and what do you enjoy about them?
We have our seniors, Michaela, Haley, Audrey, Jackie, Maddie Nelson. I said that earlier. I've been around her since we were literally like just starting to walk. And then Abby Meyer, Ella Froseth, we're all very close. We have really good team chemistry this year, too.
Newbert from the outside. The three is good for Claire Newbert.
You know, I wanted to touch maybe one more thing as I think about it at the Dairy Queen. It seems to me when I look there, a lot of athletes work, right?
Yep.
Because is it hard to find a job?
I don't really know the answer to that, but I think it's hard to find a person who works with your schedule as much as my mom does.
And that's important because, again, I'm sure the girls appreciate that, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And it's,
Even I do. I wouldn't be able to work there if I didn't have a good scheduler. So
yeah. How is it working there? Okay?
I love it. Yep.
Yeah, it is. And you had a really busy summer too, didn't you?
Super busy.
Yeah, okay. Let's touch on school, and as we get close to wrapping it up, what do you do in school? What do you like about it and the subjects?
I like math a lot. I like chemistry. It got a little hard for me last year, but it's okay. Yeah, I like doing math.
All right. So now that you're a senior and your brothers have gone off to college, and they've kind of learned that way too, in a sense that where do you want to go and why and all that kind of stuff. What do you think you're going to be doing?
I've applied to a few colleges. I don't have a decided major that I want to do yet. I could be going into business potentially. I've looked at colleges in state, out of state, so I really am very indecisive.
Okay. Just one more thought too, thinking back, what was it like for you and your classmates when the team won the state tournament?
That was so fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Everything was just great. I don't know, I think I was in the student section and we were just all, we were a huge student section and we were all just so excited.
I guess overall, just to summarize, your experience, even though volleyball had its, kind of a little irritated with that, but that's the way it is. You explain that. But overall, what has been the experience about being a Sauk Centre Main Streeter?
It's awesome. Everything about it is everyone's always included. There's no issue. Just very exciting, very passionate. I think I can say that for everyone. Everyone's very passionate about the sports they play, and they just keep going. No matter how difficult it gets, you just keep going.
All right. Well, to wrap it up, Claire, I want to say this to you because, again, I appreciate your work ethic, that you are always willing to stick around. I like to watch athletes as they improve themselves from what you used to be, and now you watch and you go, hey, you notice that. And you were certainly one of those, just the way you were hitting the ball, as hard as you were hitting it, and it was really a shame that you guys just couldn't keep on going and to be able to do that. But I just, again, want to compliment you on just watching you play. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right, real good. That's Claire Newbert. She is the Athlete of the Week here on Mid-Minnesota Sports, brought to you by Diamond Point in Sauk Centre.